Hey, welcome to the second course video for the song Overcompensate from 21 Pilots and their album Clancy. I'm musically malnourished and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. In these videos, we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's get in, see what's going on with this song. All right, after growing anticipation and teases for Clancy, their fifth major release studio album, 21 Pilots released a video entitled I Am Clancy, which is up on the channel, on February of 2024 to both recap the Dima story up until this point and tease its final chapter. Underneath the narration from frontman Tyler Joseph was a song with a German phrase that roughly translates to, "The secret island has weaponized me," which is a reference to one of the Clancy letters. Underneath the narration, I don't remember hearing that, so that's my first time seeing that. The song acts as an introduction to a live set, a concept the band has toyed around with in prior tours. Sonically, the intro leads to a beat, kick, and an irregular song structure that aims to excite listeners as it reminds them of the prior albums in the story. Yeah, which is funny because even the beat structure and like I was bouncing to it, but at the same time it was almost a little contradictory, the beat and the rap, and I was like, man, that sounds really complicated to rap to. But yeah, definitely sets the stage for sure. If the Trench-like production and blurry face tones weren't enough, Overcompensate goes so far to quote Bandito to set the stage for the rest of the Clancy album. Overcompensate, first promotional single for Clancy. Okay. In the interview for BBC, Tyler said, "This song, Overcompensate, being the first track on the record, it's going to be the first song we play live when we start touring. There's a bit of confidence and a bit of swagger in it that character really needed to embody in order to take on the new role that the story we've been telling, and Clancy's like going to rise up as that person." All right, then we have a few performances here. Cool, let's get up into the lyrics. All right, this was that opening that we weren't sure what it said. Two lines each of German, French, and Spanish respectively, each spoken by a different non-identified voice, the German and French speakers being female, the Spanish male. All three parts roughly translate to the same message. "This small, eerie island has made me a weapon," which was Voldsoy, was the name of the island. The weapon was the antlers from Ned. "We both believe that we can use it to change the momentum of this war," which the whole thing is called psychokinesis. "This message originates in one of Clancy's letters," okay, "whose usage was prominent in Trench's promotional phase. The line was taken from the second handwritten letter posted on March 18th, helping promote the Outside music video. This may also be a slight nod to Migraine. Behind my eyelids are islands of islands. These vocals are removed from the edit version of Overcompensate, shortening the intro by a significant amount." Interesting. "Welcome back to Trench. I created this world to feel some control, destroy it if I want, so I sing Salo Folina." Now, I can't remember what Salo Folina means, but obviously we'll find out here. Trench, fictional continent on which the Clancy storyline takes place, as well as the name of the band's fifth studio album. The outro of Levitate, the second song on Trench, mirrors this album's intro line, "Welcome to Trench." This is followed by lyrics in the bridge of another Trench song, Bandito. "I created this world to feel some control, destroy it if I want, so I sing Salo Folina." Now, obviously, this is something they put together, Salo Folina, which it's what we cry out in Trench when we're in need. While interpretations of the literal definitions of the two words vary, the general consensus is that Salo takes on its Somali meaning to enable, while Folina is a name referring to one of creativity with a distaste for conformity and strict routine. So we just know it's their kind of war cry for freedom, obviously, because that's what they're fighting for. And also, understanding in these lines, yes, he's speaking to Trench specifically, but like with everything with 21 Pilots, you have the music side of it, beautiful, awesome, fun, exciting. You have the lyrical side of it, which has a deeper meaning. And then you have the lore side, but they're mirrors. The lore is allegory. So creating this world to feel some control, obviously is him, creating this space to dip into these things that he feels, these emotions that he has, these things that he cares about, to hopefully wrangle some of that and, make sense of it and use it for his music. Earned my stripes, 300 tracks in my Adidas track jacket. Now, before I click on this, I am curious to see, 300 tracks. It definitely is not speaking to the amount of songs that he's written, because that would be way more than, not that he hasn't written 300 songs, but as far as them publishing, it obviously has not been 300 songs. But I am curious to see where that kind of originates from. Obviously, I know an Adidas track jacket. To earn one's stripes is to do something which shows one deserves to be accepted, respected by other people. The context of the in-album universe, this could mean the Banditos earn their yellow tape stripes when they're accepted by the rest of Resistance, or when they've done outstanding acts of rebellion, gain great respect. The number could potentially be related to the 300 Spartan soldiers. The line is a play on words since the Adidas logo and their merchandise has stripes on it, which is fitting since the Adidas track jacket has been a staple in Joseph's wardrobe for a while now. So yeah, I'm just curious, the 300 tracks. If you have any insight on what that number is specifically referring to, drop it in the comments. Because obviously the other side could be tracks, meaning, the underlaying of music. When you play a track, especially 21 Pilots has to lean on a lot of technology that they've created. But to do their live shows with just two of them, there's a lot of tracks that have to be cued and played and layered. And so I don't know if it has a reference to that. Bless your ear holes while you react. Acting gobsmacked, don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. Feel like I was just here, same twitching in my eyes. Don't sleep on a boy who can't fall asleep twice in the same night and won't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. Let's see what this overcompensate is all about. Overcompensate, as defined by the municipality of Dima, is to take excessive measures in attempting to correct or make amends for an error, weakness, or problem. That's interesting. I don't feel like anywhere along the way I've come across any definition from Dima for that. So maybe I'm just forgetting something. So Tyler's taking excessive measures of revenge for all that the bishops in Dima have done to him. And I think there's also an overcompensation, like I've already mentioned, as far as even musically for this album. The word overcompensate also be compared to the use of compensate in the song Levitate. Weight habits here too. You're the worst. Your structure compensates, but compensation feels a lot like rising up to dominate by track 2. Tyler talked about the idea of each album compensating for the last in a Zane Lowe interview. Trench's experimental nature compensates for the meteoric rise to success that was Blurryface. Similarly, Scaled and Icy's colorful nature compensates for Trench's dark nature. So far, Clancy seems to strike a balance between the synthetic feeling of Blurryface and the organic nature of Trench. This line, don't sleep on a boy who can't fall asleep twice. Obviously, we know Tyler speaks a lot about sleep in the music. Metaphorically, it could imply not overlooking or underestimating someone who has faced challenges or setbacks but has the resilience and determination to try again and succeed. Falling asleep can be seen as a metaphor for encountering difficulties or failures, and can't fall asleep twice could mean someone who doesn't easily give up after facing obstacles. Overall, the phrase suggests paying attention to individuals who may seem unremarkable at first glance, but possess hidden strengths, resilience, or qualities that make them noteworthy or successful in unexpected ways. Yeah, I mean, obviously, falling asleep, don't sleep on a boy is to undervalue or overlook to fall asleep on someone. So don't sleep on him who can't fall asleep twice in the same night. I don't know. I guess the first thing it speaks to me is this idea of, because I hear what the annotations say, and that's fine. I don't know that I fully track with them. It kind of sounds to me, which is part of what the annotations was saying, is like, yeah, that he's not going to be taken advantage of twice in the same night. Or, okay, no, here's where I think it's going. Because especially he saying coming out of it, won't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. I feel like this is really pointing at the songwriting, because even before that, obviously the idea, earn my stripes, 200 tracks, my Adidas track jacket, bless your ear holes, gobsmacked, don't hesitate. So he knows he's coming out with music that's going to leave you gobsmacked. And that he won't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. So the idea of not sleeping on a boy who can't fall asleep twice in the same night, I think ties into his songwriting, in this idea of not being able to sleep, because all through Tyler's songwriting and through all the albums, as he's talked sometimes about sleep, and even Guns for Hands, that he's trying to sleep, but he can't when he knows all these kids have guns for hands, is this idea of something bothering him that he then has to do something about it, that he's thinking about it. So I feel like for this, it's like, don't discount the person who can't fall asleep twice in the same night, that like, I'm going to wake up and stay awake and then write and work on music. Personally, that's what I feel like it's going toward. I said I fly by the dangerous bend symbol, which I would assume is the symbol for the band. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Well, they did make, in the music video, they did this deal or something, which is the 21 Pilots logo. But let's see what this says. This is reference to the dangerous bend symbol. So maybe they were making the bend, I don't know, to denote difficult sections in textbooks written by the Nicholas Bourbaki group of mathematicians. Much like a road sign of the same name, Tyler's referenced the Bourbaki group numerous times through the Dima lore, most notably in Trench, songs Morph, and Nico and the Niners. In this lyric, Tyler flies by the sign, indicating he's not afraid of the dangers that lie ahead. Okay, very cool. Because when I was thinking I fly by, it's kind of like I abide by, I follow. Like that's used as a phrase. I fly by the seat of my pants type thing. If you've ever heard that phrase, that's what I was thinking. But he's saying I fly by, like I pass by. In an interview with BBC One, Tyler told Clara, it's an analogy in certain seasons of my life where just completely ignore those sort of signs, go full speed ahead, kind of learn the hard way in some ways. So a bit of that overcompensating is, overcorrecting. You're steering when trying to get back on course. Okay, cool. I definitely would have missed that. So I said I fly by the dangerous bend symbol. Don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. And then by the time I catch in my peripheral, don't hesitate to maybe overcompensate. These wait what? So by the time he's passed by the sign, flying by the sign, catches in his peripheral. Where am I from? I was born right here, just now, originated right in front of your eyes. If you can't see, I am Clancy, prodigal son, done running, come up with Josh Dunn, wanted dead or alive. So now you pick who you serve, you bow to the masses. Get kicked to the curb for passing the classes. Half empty, half full, save half for your taxes, then overtake your former self. Interesting, dude. So obviously this is speaking to Clancy coming from within Dima. So pick who you serve. In the music video, which is up over on Patreon, they've got like a room of citizens of Dima, and they're challenging them, teaching them, instructing them. And so obviously it's a call to like choose who you're going to serve. This is interesting though. Get kicked to the curb for passing the classes. Oh, I wonder, before I read this, because I'm always trying to figure it out before I read. I wonder if he's saying to them, if you're just going to pass your classes, because that's the point of Dima, right? That everything is very measured and repeatable, and the order of it is like everybody, it's comfortable because everybody knows what they're supposed to do every single day. But it's also meant to kind of lull them into sleep. And if you take it into an American context, you know, there is a part of keeping Americans distracted. If we're so distracted by social media and drama and whatever else that's just wants to make us asleep, then devious powers can do as they wish, you know, and ultimately we think we're free, but then we're just slaves to a system that we didn't even realize. We bowed to the masses. And so I feel like what he's saying is, to those he's challenging, if you're just going to bow to the masses, you're going to get kicked to the curb here in Trench, in with the banditos, with the resistance, just for if you're just going to pass your classes. So that's what I feel like it's saying, but let's see. Even when you succeed in meeting certain expectations or standards, such as passing classes and achieving academic success, that doesn't guarantee acceptance or respect from others. Even if it does, success in one area might not be enough to protect you from rejection or dismissal by those in another area. In light of the story, Clancy is warning his followers of the false reality that is appeasing the bishops. Okay, so it's a little bit different than what I was saying. In a more real sense, Tyler's encouraging listeners to set goals for one's own self, not for the potential satisfaction of another. Oftentimes, kind of people-pleasing is counterintuitive. So you bow to the masses, get kicked to the curb for passing the classes. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my interpretation of it still stands, but I can also see, just because the specific wording of it, but it could also mean that, yeah, you appeal, you bow to the masses, but you're still going to get kicked to the curb. This is an interesting line. Half empty, half full refers to choosing between an optimistic and pessimistic perspective on a given situation. If one views the glass half empty, they're focusing on lack of water, whereas if one views glass half full, they're instead focusing on the water that is there. Tyler builds upon this dichotomy by adding an additional perspective. By first changing the picture of water to one of money, he's offering what some consider to be a realistic perspective. While this is often misunderstood to simply be a combination of the optimistic and pessimistic perspectives, instead focuses on reality more so than ideals. In this lyric, Tyler is shifting his focus from the amount/lack of money to the fact that half of it will inevitably be used for taxes. It's reminiscent of the band's earlier song, Tearing My Heart. Driving here I sit, cursing my government. Yeah, I mean, that's a loose, just because it has the word taxes in it, but that's not at all any connection to that song. It also echoes the anti-fascist ideas that could be extrapolated from more recent Never Take It, rather than merely adopting perspectives that are offered at face value. Tyler's encouraging the listener to think through what they're told and arrive at their own conclusion, which may not completely follow previously held ideologies, will better their well-being altogether. Half empty, half full, save half for your taxes, then overtake your former self. This line emphasizes the importance of personal growth and progress. One should strive to surpass previous achievements. This whole time I thought I was battling my inner self. Was I actually under assault or something else? Someone else. This could reference how our society makes us believe that we should be improving ourselves all the time. Yeah, I mean, I think overtaking your former self, sure. I mean, I think that all of us should be trying to do that. I mean, unless it's speaking from a negative standpoint, the idea of overtaking your former self, sure. And obviously you can take that to a negative, if you can't operate from any sense of peace or self-worth because you just are so sick of your former self or yourself today. But I think if you can operate from a place of peace, a place of not hating yourself. But yeah, I would hope that tomorrow I could overtake my former self, or 5 years or 10 years from now, that, an old version of myself that I've hopefully progressed from doesn't overtake me. So, I don't know, interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Days feel like a perfect length. I don't need them any longer, but for goodness sake. Do the years seem way too short for my soul? Corazon. I guess we'll finish reading this and then we'll hop over and see what this says. I'm curious about that Corazon line. Way too short for my soul, Corazon. The days feel like a perfect length. Okay, so it's repeating. Tyler's referencing the adage, the days are long, but the years are short, which is used universally to mean that each day feels long and tiring, yet life seems to pass rather quickly. The phrase is often used by parents. It can be interpreted that Tyler's referring to his life as a parent, a nod to how fast children grow up and how hard it can be to raise a child. Yeah, I was wondering if there was going to be a reference here because obviously Skeleton Icy was made during the pandemic. With the years seem way too short for my soul, Tyler may also be referencing the COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected the perception of time for many people, making past years feel more recent than they actually are. It's also commonly stated that time goes faster as one gets older. Corazon, taken literally, is the Spanish word for heart. It can also be used to mean darling or sweetheart, courage or spirit, or to serve as a symbol of compassion and sympathy. The use of Corazon in this song could have a double meaning, representing both the inner heart/soul of a person and serving as a term of endearment. Yeah, which, I mean, I guess if it's at all tied to his family life, be a term of endearment. Yeah, I wonder if it also is maybe like kind of a take heart type thing. Earned my stripes. Okay. Okay, and then it's repeating there. Man, a strong and definitely experimental in a sense, but that is 21 Pilots. When something sounds experimental, it's like they're in their pocket. And so really strong start there. But let me know your thoughts if there's anything you saw that I didn't see, and we'll have a conversation in the comments. Thanks for being with me for this one. Hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.